Your conscious mind, as you go to sleep, is capable of impressing your great I am upon your subconscious mind, which is a sliver of the one all-creating subconscious mind. This one mind never sleeps because it is infinite and therefore everywhere and in everything, and it is always in the process of creating and manifesting. Throughout those hours while your conscious mind is resting, your subconscious mind is receiving and processing all that you've downloaded into it and getting ready to turn its impressions into form and circumstance. In his book, The Biology of Belief, my good friend Bruce Lipton puts this phenomenon of the conscious and subconscious mind into the language of modern technology using this metaphor. Quote, "In reality, the subconscious is an emotionless database of stored programs whose function is strictly concerned with reading environmental signals and engaging in hardwired behavioral programs, no questions asked, no judgments made. The subconscious mind is a programmable hard drive into which our life experiences are downloaded." Unquote. So here you are lying in your bed about to enter into your unconscious state where your subconscious mind is most at home. In Bruce Lipton's analogy, there's a computer ready and waiting to get to work as soon as you doze off and leave your conscious mind behind. As you lie there, what you say to yourself as an I am is what you download into the computer. The computer I'm using to stand in for the one universal subconscious mind is so vast that it has no beginning and no end, and everything exists within it. If everything exists within it, and it is infinite, that means you exist within it as well, and it must respond to what you load into it. It cannot sleep. It's too busy turning conscious impressions into form and circumstance. All you have to do is understand this power is within you and be in a state of gratitude for your highest self, which is God. Remember those three magic words. You are God. There is only one subconscious mind, and your own subconscious mind is a part of that one mind. That invisible part of you is really the mind of God at work, as long as you don't edge God out. That's ego, which is what your conscious mind has probably been trained to do. If your subconscious mind receives your conviction that you have money, you will have money. If it receives the conviction that I am happy, I am healthy, I am content, I am love, I am wise, or any other statement downloaded with conviction, the subconscious mind will bring it into your physical reality. I am not suggesting that you have hope or tell yourself maybe or use the last 5 minutes awake to say, I will be happy, I will be prosperous, I hope to one day be content. Use the name that God gave to Moses as he described who he is. I am that. I am. This is where faith plays a decisive role. You must extinguish any thought that being one with God is impossible. That is the false self at work. The contaminated personal subconscious that receives toxic self-limiting ideas and turns them into your unfulfilled reality. You are one with the one universal subconscious mind of God that never sleeps and works for you while your conscious mind slumbers. You want it to work for you, using what you downloaded into it, even as you are in deep sleep. While you sleep, your subconscious mind works. One of my spiritual teachers, Ombram Mikhail Ivanov, the Bulgarian mystic philosopher and one of the founders of the Universal White Brotherhood, has this to say about your preparation for sleep and what transpires while you sleep. Quote, "It is the experiences of the last minutes before you go to sleep that are more important, more significant than anything that happened during the day." Unquote. He speaks eloquently on the importance of entering the subconscious mind with a purity of spirit, because each night we die, and if we don't know how to prepare for our nightly death, we will be prepared for our true departure to the other world. Quote, "Take care, therefore," he urges us, "never to go to sleep with negative thoughts in your mind, for they will destroy all the good you may have gained during the day." Unquote. Your time while asleep, when you leave this house and yet are still attached to it, is to be thought of as a sacred journey that you take daily to connect to the one universal subconscious mind and experience the bewildering wonder of what transpires there. Once again, Ivanov tells us, quote, "Before going to sleep, you must get ready as though for a sacred pilgrimage. Never go to bed with a negative thought in your head, for it will wreak havoc in your subconscious." Unquote. In those 8 or so hours that you are embedded in your subconscious mind, you receive instruction. The feelings you brought to your sleep time will be expressed tomorrow and in all of your tomorrows. This is a time when you leave behind the constrictions of your physical world and the limitations of your physical body. You allow the one subconscious mind to create your wishes without active participation from your solid material self. I cannot describe to you precisely how your subconscious mind works while you sleep, nor can anyone give you this kind of detail. As Neville puts it so succinctly, quote, "The subconscious receives impressions only through the feelings of man, and in a way known only to itself, gives these impressions form and expression," unquote. Who can describe the intricacies of a caterpillar weaving its own chrysalis and then emerging as a beautiful butterfly? It is a mystery known only to the one mind, as is how a subconscious impression turns into a hardened fact. But you can be cognizant of the many mysterious things you do while asleep, all the while believing them to be true and experiencing them in your body, even though you are unconscious. I only ask you to enjoy the mysterious and know that it is full of potential. Wallow in it, and when you do, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities.
There is a quiet power that exists within each of USA Power that, when embraced, transforms the very fabric of our lives. It is a power that speaks not through force, but through a subtle yet unwavering clarity. It is the power of setting boundaries, of establishing in our own hearts and in the world around us the sacred space that preserves our peace, our joy, and our truth. Many of us walk through life with a deep sense of disconnection from this power, believing that to love others, we must give endlessly, to surrender ourselves entirely. We have been taught to ignore our own needs, to sacrifice our well-being for the sake of others, and to be endlessly accommodating, even when it costs us our sense of self. But this, my dear friends, is not the path of self-love. This is the path of depletion, of losing touch with the essence of who we are, and of abandoning the very heart of our truth. True love, real love, begins with the deep respect and honor we show to ourselves. And one of the most sacred ways to honor yourself is by establishing boundaries that reflect your worth. Boundaries are not walls to keep others away. They are bridges that connect you to your own heart and soul. They are the language of self-respect, spoken not in words, but in actions, in the choices you make, in the way you move through the world with a quiet confidence that says, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of my own presence. Boundaries are not limitations, nor are they restrictive. On the contrary, they are liberating. They are the invisible lines that allow your soul to expand into its true potential without fear of being overwhelmed, exploited, or diminished. They are the spaces where you find yourself again, where you remember who you truly are without the noise of the world drowning out your inner voice. Imagine, for a moment, a garden. This garden is your life, your spirit, your essence. It is lush and vibrant, filled with the flowers of your dreams, the fruits of your efforts, and the beauty of your soul. Now imagine that the garden has no fence, no boundary to protect it. It is vulnerable to the elements, to the animals that wander through, to the weeds that seek to overtake it. Without a fence, this garden is open to anything and everything, both the nourishing and the destructive. But when you place a boundary around that gardena gate, a fence, a wall of love and respect, you are not shutting out the world. You are simply ensuring that only that which nourishes you can enter. You are making space for your soul to grow, free from the encroachments of negativity, fear, and unhealthy influences. Your garden becomes a sanctuary, a place of peace, a place where you can breathe, bloom, and become all that you are meant to be. This is what boundaries do for your life. They create the space for you to exist fully in your truth, without compromise, without apology. Boundaries are the essence of your self-respect. They are the sacred lines that tell the world, this is who I am, and I will no longer accept anything less than my highest good. But to set boundaries, we must first understand something profound about ourselves. We are not here to please everyone. We are not here to be liked by everyone. We are not here to carry the burdens of others at the expense of our own peace. This is not selfishness. This is self-respect. And when we learn to honor ourselves in this way, we begin to realize that we are not only honoring ourselves, but we are also teaching others how to treat us. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is to honor your own needs. If you constantly give without receiving, if you allow others to overstep your boundaries, you are sending a message to the universe that you are not worthy of being treated with the same care and respect you so freely offer to others. You are teaching the world that it is okay to take from you without offering anything in return. And this, my friends, is a disservice to your soul. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about taking control of your own life. They are not about telling others what they can or cannot do, but rather about expressing your needs and making sure that you are not compromising your own well-being for the sake of others. Boundaries are a declaration of self-worth, a deep acknowledgement that you deserve to be treated with dignity, with respect, and with love. And yet, despite the power and importance of boundaries, many of us resist setting them. We fear the discomfort that may arise when we say no to someone or when we stand up for ourselves in the face of opposition. We fear rejection, judgment, and conflict. We believe that setting boundaries will make us seem rude, selfish, or unkind. But in truth, it is the opposite that is true. When we fail to set boundaries, we are being disrespectful to ourselves. We are dishonoring the divine spark within us. And we are allowing our energy, our time, and our love to be squandered by those who do not value us. The fear of setting boundaries often comes from a deep-seated belief that we are not enough, that we must constantly give in order to be worthy of love or acceptance. But this is a lie. You are already enough. You are already whole. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone by overextending yourself, by exhausting your energy, or by compromising your truth. You are deserving of respect, of space, and of peace, simply because you exist. When you begin to set boundaries, you will notice a shift in your life. You will begin to feel more at ease with yourself, more grounded in your own sense of purpose and direction. You will begin to attract people who respect you, who honor your needs, and who value your presence. You will find yourself in relationships that are mutually nourishing, where giving and receiving flow in balance. You will no longer feel drained, depleted, or overwhelmed, for you will have created the sacred space to nurture your own soul. Boundaries, my dear friends, are not walls of separation. They are the walls of self-love, self-respect, and self-care. They are the space in which you can breathe, grow, and evolve into the fullest expression of who you are. They are the language of your soul, speaking clearly and decisively to the world. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of my own presence. So I ask you now, what boundaries do you need to set in your life? What are the areas where you have been overextending yourself, where you have been giving without receiving, where you have been neglecting your own needs? What are the relationships, the situations, the environments that are draining your energy and preventing you from living in your truth? It is time, my friends, to take a stand for yourself. It is time to honor your soul. It is time to create the sacred space in which you can thrive. And as you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift. You will no longer be a victim of circumstance. You will no longer feel helpless or overwhelmed. You will be the master of your own life, and in doing so, you will become a beacon of light for others to follow. Remember this, boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges. They are the lines that connect you to your highest self, to your truth, and to your deepest potential. They are the language of self-respect, spoken not in words, but in actions, in choices, and in the way you live your life. And when you speak this language with clarity and conviction, you will find that the world responds with the same love, respect, and peace that you have chosen to give yourself. You are worthy of your own love. You are worthy of your own respect. You are worthy of your own peace. And the time to honor yourself, to set your boundaries, is now. May you walk forward with the strength and courage to honor your truth, to honor your soul, and to embrace the beautiful, powerful, and divine being that you are. As you stand at the threshold of this new understanding, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound transformation that is occurring within you. In this very moment, you are shedding the old layers, the beliefs and fears that have held you hostage for far too long. You are unearthing the truth that has always resided within you, waiting patiently for you to remember. You are not here to serve others at the expense of your own soul's peace. So many of us have lived in a state of fear, fearing the consequences of asserting our boundaries, believing that we would be abandoned, criticized, or misunderstood. We've been taught that self-respect is selfishness, that honoring our needs is a sign of weakness. But what if, instead of being weak, this is where your true power lies? What if honoring yourself, taking the time to nurture your spirit, your mind, your body, was the most powerful act of self-love and respect you could ever offer to the world? Imagine for a moment that your soul is a vast, expansive ocean. It is deep, boundless, and brimming with infinite potential. But imagine if that ocean had no shores, no boundaries. It would be constantly swayed by every passing current, every wave that came its way. It would be endlessly susceptible to the storms of life, with no protection, no foundation upon which to stand. But when you create boundaries, when you set the shorelines of your soul, you are allowing your ocean to be still, to find its own rhythm, to flow within the beauty of its own vastness. You give yourself the space to breathe, to reflect, to grow in a way that is aligned with your deepest essence. Boundaries allow you to be your truest self without fear of being swept away by the demands, expectations, and judgments of others. When you stand firm in your truth, when you honor your needs, you are not rejecting the world. You are simply choosing to honor the love and wisdom that resides within you. You are saying to yourself and to the world, I am worthy of my own care. I am worthy of my own peace. I am worthy of my own love. And when you honor yourself in this way, something miraculous happens. You begin to magnetize the same energy into your life. You start to attract people, situations, and opportunities that respect your boundaries, that honor your essence, and that support your growth. Your life begins to unfold in a way that feels natural, effortless, and aligned with your soul's purpose. You begin to experience relationships that are mutually nourishing, where love flows freely and without condition, where respect is a given, not something that needs to be earned. But it all begins with you. It all begins with your decision to stop waiting for the permission of others to live your truth. No one else can give you the validation, the peace, or the love that you seek. It can only come from within. The boundaries you set are not walls to keep the world out. They are doors to invite in only that which serves your highest good. They are the spaces in which you come alive, in which you connect with the deepest parts of yourself that have been waiting for you to remember. As you move forward in life, there will be times when you are faced with challenges, when people will test your boundaries, when life will ask you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. In those moments, remember this: you do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to sacrifice your peace, your well-being, or your truth for the sake of others. Your boundaries are not rigid. They are flexible, fluid, and ever-evolving. They can bend, shift, and grow with you, but they must always remain rooted in the love and respect that you have for yourself. When you choose to honor your boundaries, you are not closing yourself off from the world. You are opening yourself to a deeper, more authentic connection with the world. You are teaching others how to honor your needs just as you honor theirs. You are creating a space where love, compassion, and understanding can flourish, free from the distractions, judgments, and insecurities that often cloud our relationships. And in this space, you find your true power. You realize that you are not a victim to the circumstances of your life, but the creator of your experience. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others, but free to live fully in alignment with your soul's truth. You become the master of your own destiny, no longer waiting for the world to define you, but instead defining the world around you with the strength of your love, your clarity, and your boundaries. This, my friends, is the path of true freedom. It is the path of self-respect. It is the path of honoring yourself, of giving yourself the space to become the fullest expression of your divine self. It is the path of saying, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of peace, I am worthy of my own presence. And as you walk this path, you will discover that the more you honor yourself, the more you are able to give to others, the more you set boundaries that protect your peace, the more you have to offer the world. Your energy becomes pure, radiant, and untainted by the noise of the world. You become a beacon of light for others to follow, a living example of what it means to live in alignment with your highest self. So, take this moment to breathe deeply, to center yourself, and to reflect on the boundaries you need to set in your life. What are the areas where you have been overextending yourself? What are the relationships or situations that are draining your energy and keeping you from fully embracing your truth? What are the boundaries that will allow you to live with greater peace, greater joy, and greater alignment with your divine purpose? It is time, my friends, to honor yourself. It is time to step into the fullness of your being, to create the space where you can thrive, and to embrace the love, respect, and peace that you so richly deserve. As you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift. You will find that you no longer need to chase love, peace, or happiness. They will come to you naturally as a result of the boundaries you have set in place. Remember this: you are worthy of your own love. You are worthy of your own respect. You are worthy of your own peace. And when you honor these truths within yourself, the world will reflect them back to you in ways that you never thought possible. May you walk forward with the strength and courage to honor your truth, to honor your soul, and to embrace the beautiful, powerful, and divine being that you are. You are worthy of every good thing that life has to offer, and it begins with the simple yet profound act of setting boundaries that reflect your worth. As we continue this path, you will encounter moments that will test your resolve. Life, in its infinite wisdom, often presents us with opportunities disguised as challenges, asking us to stand firm in our truth. These tests are not obstacles. They are invitations inviting you to rise to the occasion, to hold your boundaries with grace and conviction. There will be moments when the people around you do not understand your boundaries. They may resist, they may challenge, or they may try to convince you that you are being too rigid, too self-centered, or too demanding. In these moments, remember this: your boundaries are not meant to be understood by everyone. They are meant to be felt deeply within the core of your being. The world may not always honor your boundaries, but that does not mean that they are not valid. The essence of a boundary is that it is personal, it is sacred, and it is rooted in your divine right to be at peace with yourself. You see, boundaries are not about controlling others. They are not about manipulation or punishment. They are about creating the space for your soul to breathe, to thrive, and to evolve. They are the invisible lines that protect your inner world, that safeguard your peace, your energy, and your purpose. When you set boundaries, you are not rejecting others. You are simply affirming that you have a right to exist in your truth, free from the distractions, expectations, and manipulations of the world. It is in these moments of resistance, when others push against your boundaries, that you are called to stand firm in your power. This is not an act of defiance, it is an act of self-respect. It is a recognition that your needs, your peace, and your well-being matter. And when you hold firm to your boundaries, you are not just honoring yourself, you are teaching others how to honor you as well. Boundaries also serve another profound purpose. They bring clarity into your relationships. When you set clear boundaries, you are communicating to the world exactly what you need, what you will accept, and what you will not. This clarity opens the door for deeper, more meaningful connections, because you are no longer engaging in relationships that drain your energy, that leave you feeling unseen, unheard, or unappreciated. Boundaries remove the ambiguity and allow both you and the other person to operate in a space of mutual respect, understanding, and trust. It is important to remember, however, that boundaries are not set once and for all. They are living, evolving expressions of your ongoing journey. As you grow, as you evolve, so too will your boundaries. What once felt right may no longer align with your truth, and that is perfectly okay. The act of setting and adjusting boundaries is an ongoing process of tuning into your deepest needs, your soul's desires, and your highest good. It is about being flexible and adaptable while never compromising your inner peace or your worth. Now, you may ask, what happens when you do not set boundaries? What happens when you allow others to overstep? When you do not speak your truth, or when you ignore the gentle whispers of your soul? The answer is simple. You begin to lose yourself. Slowly, gradually, over time, you become disconnected from your true essence. You may begin to feel depleted, overwhelmed, or resentful. You may find that you are constantly giving, but never receiving, that you are pouring from an empty cup. And when this happens, your soul begins to wither, and you lose sight of the peace, the joy, and the purpose that are meant to flow freely through you. But this does not have to be your reality. You do not have to live in a state of depletion. You do not have to live in a constant state of compromise or self-sacrifice. You have the power, the divine right, and the strength to reclaim your energy, your peace, and your truth. And it begins with the simple yet profound act of setting boundaries, of saying no when you need to, of walking away from situations that drain you, and of honoring the divine presence within you that seeks only peace, love, and joy. As you begin to honor your boundaries, something magical begins to unfold. You will notice that your energy becomes more vibrant, more focused, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. You will notice that your relationships become more authentic, more nourishing, and more fulfilling. And most importantly, you will notice that you begin to feel more at home with yourself, more at peace with your choices, and more aligned with the divine truth that resides within you. This is the gift of boundaries, the gift of reclaiming your power, your peace, and your divine essence. When you set boundaries, you are not rejecting the world. You are inviting the world to meet you at the level of your truth. You are inviting the world to recognize your worth, to honor your space, and to see you as you truly are a divine, worthy, and powerful being deserving of love, respect, and peace. As we come to the close of this journey, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the boundaries that you need to set in your life. What areas need more space? What relationships need clearer definitions? Where are you giving away too much of your energy, your time, or your love? What are the changes that you can make right now that will honor your soul and create the space for your highest self to emerge? Remember, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-love. It is the foundation of a life lived in alignment with your truth. It is the key to unlocking your full potential, to stepping into your power, and to living the life that you were always meant to live. May you walk forward with courage, with clarity, and with the unwavering knowledge that you are worthy of every good thing that life has to offer. May your boundaries be strong, and may they be an expression of the love, respect, and peace that you hold within. And may you continue to honor yourself, your soul, and your divine purpose, knowing that you are enough, you are worthy, and you are loved just as you are. You are the creator of your life. You are the master of your boundaries, and you are the keeper of your peace. As we reach the final part of this transformative journey, let us reflect on everything that has been shared and understood. You have discovered the profound power that comes from setting boundaries, boundaries that protect your peace, that honor your worth, and that create the sacred space necessary for your soul to thrive. You have learned that boundaries are not barriers to others, but bridges that connect you more deeply with your highest self, allowing you to walk through life with clarity, strength, and divine purpose. The path to true freedom is not one of endless compromise or self-sacrifice. It is the path of reclaiming your divine right to exist in your fullest expression, free from the influence of external demands that threaten your inner peace. And while the road to setting boundaries can be challenging at times, especially when you fear the reactions of others, it is the most loving and empowering act you can make. It is the act of honoring your own soul, your own needs, and your own truth, knowing that when you do this, you create the space for your life to unfold with ease, grace, and alignment. But now, I ask you, how will you walk forward? The knowledge you have gained in this moment is not meant to remain only as an idea. It is meant to be lived, breathed, and embodied. It is time for you to take the first steps toward honoring yourself in the most sacred way possible by setting boundaries that reflect your worth, your truth, and your divine right to peace. It is time for you to look at the areas of your life where you have been overextending yourself, where you have allowed others to take too much, where you have neglected your own needs for the sake of others. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what are the areas of my life that require more respect? Where do I need to draw the line and say, this is enough? Perhaps it is in your relationships, those that have drained you, taken from you, without offering anything in return. Perhaps it is in your work where you have given tirelessly, but the balance of energy exchange has been off, leaving you feeling undervalued and exhausted. Perhaps it is within yourself, where you have allowed old fears, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt to overrun your thoughts, preventing you from living your fullest life. Whatever it is, know this: you have the power to change it. The moment you say no to something that no longer serves you, you are not only freeing yourself, you are creating space for something greater to enter. You are creating space for peace. You are creating space for love. You are creating space for your soul to expand, to rise, and to be seen in its fullest light. Remember, my friends, that boundaries are not a form of isolation. They are an invitation for others to meet you at the level of your truth. When you set your boundaries, you are teaching the world how to treat you, and you are teaching others how to honor their own needs as well. Boundaries create a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to live with more integrity, more authenticity, and more respect for themselves and others. So, as you move forward, embrace the power of saying no when necessary. Embrace the power of choosing your peace over pleasing others. Embrace the power of stepping into your worth, knowing that you are enough, that you are deserving, and that you are worthy of your own love, care, and attention. This is your time, the time to reclaim your soul, the time to honor your truth, the time to live with boundaries that allow your spirit to soar, unfettered by the expectations and demands of the world. You are not here to give endlessly without receiving. You are not here to be the martyr, to lose yourself in the service of others. You are here to live fully, to live joyously, and to live in alignment with the divine truth that resides within you. And so I ask you now, will you honor your boundaries? Will you stand tall in your worth and create the space necessary for your soul to thrive? Will you choose peace, respect, and love, both for yourself and for those you encounter on your journey? I know you will. You have everything you need to walk this path, and as you do, you will become the living example of what it means to live in self-respect, self-love, and self-honor. You will become a beacon of light for others to follow, a reminder that boundaries are not walls to shut the world out, but doors to allow the world in only at the level of your highest truth. And in this space, you will discover the boundless freedom that comes with living in alignment with your divine essence. You will realize that you are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the master of your own life. You are no longer afraid of setting boundaries because you understand that they are the language of self-respect, the language of self-love, and the language of freedom. So, as we come to the end of this journey, I leave you with this final thought. Your life is your own. It is a sacred, divine expression of who you are, and it is yours to shape, to nurture, and to protect. May you walk forward with the strength, the clarity, and the unwavering confidence that comes from knowing your worth, from setting boundaries, and from honoring your truth. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are loved just as you are. This is your time to rise. This is your time to shine. This is your time to live the life you were always meant to live. And so it is. There is a silent ache living inside so many people, a persistent, invisible weight that presses down on their spirit with every breath they take. It's the burden of believing they must shrink to be accepted. The ache of walking through life with their head slightly bowed, their light dim, their voice filtered through the fear of being too much. They smile politely, tiptoe carefully, apologize often, and hide instinctively all, to avoid disturbing a world that has somehow convinced them that their very being needs justification. But let me remind you of something sacred and eternal. You are not here by accident. You were not placed on this earth to tiptoe around the edges of your own life. You are a divine creation, a masterpiece sculpted from the infinite intelligence of Source itself. And your very existence is not something to apologize for. It is something to stand inside of, fully, gratefully, and unapologetically. The moment you were conceived, an entire universe conspired to breathe life into you. Stars collapsed and reformed in ancient skies. Oceans moved in rhythm with your heartbeat long before you ever touched the sand. The trees were already waiting to offer you shade. The sun was already burning so it could warm your skin. Life did not ask you to prove your worth before it gave you breath. It simply loved you into being. So who are you to apologize for that? Somewhere along the way, the world taught you how to forget your worth. You were handed roles to play and masks to wear. You were told to be quiet, be good, be agreeable, be less. You were taught to seek permission, to prove, to earn, to mold yourself into something palatable to those who hadn't yet remembered their own light. And the tragedy of it all is not just that you believed them, but that you started believing you had to apologize for the parts of you that were too free, too emotional, too passionate, too different, too radiant. But I tell you now, you were not born to beg for space in a universe that formed around you. You are not here to prove your right to exist. Your presence on this planet is the proof. And the very breath in your lungs is the permission. Stop apologizing for needing rest. Stop apologizing for setting boundaries. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop apologizing for your tears, your laughter, your healing, your truth. Stop apologizing for no longer tolerating what drains your soul. Stop apologizing for honoring what your spirit whispers in the quiet hours when no one else is watching. That is your truth. And your truth does not require approval, it requires alignment. The ego will tell you that to be loved, you must be pleasing, that to belong, you must be agreeable. But your soul, your soul knows better. Your soul came here for authenticity, not approval. It came here to remember its own holiness, not to be molded by a world still asleep in the dream of separation. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your joy. You do not owe an apology for your healing. You are not selfish for putting yourself first when the world has asked you to abandon yourself for so long. You are not difficult for saying no when yes would betray your soul. You are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not too anything. You are exactly as you were designed to be, and that design is flawless because it was carved from the fabric of God itself. When you apologize for your existence, you declare to the universe that your presence is a burden, and what you declare becomes the frequency you live in. But when you decide, truly decide, to no longer shrink yourself to be digestible, you rise into a vibration where miracles unfold. Not because you've earned them, but because you've finally stopped resisting them. Healing begins when you stop apologizing for what hurts. Freedom begins when you stop pretending you're not bound. Power begins when you stop seeking permission to be who you already are. There is nothing humble about hiding. There is nothing noble about dimming your light so others can feel comfortable in the dark.
True humility is standing tall in your divine nature while knowing that same divinity lives in everyone else. True humility is saying, I will not shrink to fit into your expectations, but I will love you while I rise. And that is what we are all called to do, to rise. To rise into the fullness of our being, to rise into the sacred remembrance that we are already worthy, already whole, already enough. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not an inconvenience to this world. You are the miracle itself. You are the prayer someone else is whispering. You are the answer life is unfolding through. Stop apologizing for that. Your pain does not disqualify you. Your confusion does not cancel your divinity. Your past does not reduce your value. In fact, it is often those very things, the wounds, the questions, the battles, that become the fire that forges your awakening. And in the fire, the ego screams, but the soul sings. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be present. You don't have to have all the answers. You only have to be willing to listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the quiet hum of eternity vibrating within you. That's where your truth lives. That's where your power waits. That's where God meets you, not in apology, but in authenticity. When you say, I'm sorry for being too much, you abandon the part of you that is finally ready to rise. When you say, I'm sorry for needing space, you betray the soul that is asking you to breathe. When you say, I'm sorry for taking up room in the world, you rob that very world of the medicine only your presence can give. You are not here to fix anyone. You are here to free yourself. And in your freedom, others are reminded that they too are free. Stop apologizing for your healing journey. It may be messy, it may be nonlinear, it may confuse those who've never dared to walk their own, but your healing is holy. It is not a performance. It is not a public relations campaign. It is sacred alchemy. It is the resurrection of your soul from the ashes of old conditioning. Let your healing be loud. Let your boundaries be firm. Let your truth be untamed. Let your light be unapologetic. And let your presence be permission for others to do the same. You are not here to entertain the wounded expectations of others. You are here to embody the wholeness that lives within you, to remember it, to reclaim it, and to radiate it like the sun that shines without asking if it's allowed to rise. God does not apologize for creating you. So why would you apologize for being? You are not what the world told you you had to be. You are not your mistakes. You are not your labels. You are not your trauma. You are not your timeline. You are not your body. You are not your roles. You are not your past. You are something far more eternal, far more radiant, far more expansive. You are the light of God in human form, learning, growing, stumbling, rising, awakening. And in every breath you take, you have the opportunity to return to that truth. Not to earn it, but to remember it, to breathe into it, to live from it. You are the sky, vast, untouchable, unbroken. Your emotions are the weather that passes through. Your pain is not your identity. Your fear is not your home. Your past is not your prison. All of it, every piece is passing, transient, part of your becoming, not the definition of your being. Stop apologizing for what makes you feel alive. Stop apologizing for your passions, your dreams, your voice, your vision. Stop apologizing for your uniqueness. It is not a defect. It is your design. It is how God made sure the world would never lose the medicine only you could bring. Let the shame melt. Let the guilt dissolve. Let the unworthiness unravel. And in its place, plant the truth like a flag in the ground of your soul. I am allowed to be here. I am allowed to be whole. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to heal. I am allowed to shine. I am allowed to live as if I was never broken, because I never truly was. You are not here to be a watered-down version of your truth. You are here to be the full expression of divine life moving through you. Stop apologizing. Start living. You are not born with a sign around your neck that says, "I'm sorry for being here." That sign was crafted by fear, fastened by conditioning, and tightened by the opinions of others who forgot their own divinity. But now, with a breath of awareness, with a clarity of presence, you have the power to take it off, to tear it away, to stand naked before life and the truth of your being and say, "I no longer need to be small to feel safe. I no longer need to be silent to feel seen. I no longer need to apologize for the breath that was given to me by something far greater than this world." No flower apologizes for blooming too brightly. No ocean apologizes for being too vast. No star whispers regret for its brilliance. So why should you, who carry the same creative spark, shrink your light to fit into a room built on forgetfulness? The fear of being too much is the echo of someone else's disconnection. But your fullness does not harm, it heals. Your wholeness does not intimidate, it liberates. Your radiance does not cast shadows, it reveals the places still waiting to awaken. You are not a burden for feeling deeply. You are not a mistake for walking away from what wounds your peace. You are not selfish for choosing to protect the sacred temple of your being. In fact, the greatest act of service you can offer the world is to become so deeply aligned with your true self that you no longer bend to the distortions of those who haven't yet remembered who they are. Stop apologizing for needing solitude. The soul grows in stillness. It hears the whisper of God in the hush between distractions. In the silence you try to fill, your spirit speaks loudest. You are not antisocial for choosing stillness over noise. You are sacred. Stop apologizing for your joy. There are people who will misunderstand your happiness because they've never dared to believe they deserve it themselves. But your joy is not a threat, it is a map. It shows the way home to those still lost in the maze of their minds. And stop apologizing for your voice. You were given a sound, a truth, a message encoded with divine intelligence. You were meant to speak, not just in words, but in presence, in energy, in frequency. Your existence hums with a song no other being can sing. So let it rise, let it soar, let it break the silence of suppression. Because when you give yourself permission to be fully expressed, you gift the world with a living example of what freedom looks like. There are those who will ask you to tone it down, to be more agreeable, to keep the peace by betraying yourself. But that's not peace, that's performance. And the soul was not born to perform, it was born to be. Being does not ask for applause. It asks for truth. It asks for presence. It asks for you to look in the mirror and finally say, "I see you, I honor you, I no longer abandon you for the comfort of others." This is your rebirth. This is your rising. This is the moment when you decide that you don't owe anyone a diluted version of your truth. You don't need to lower your voice to be heard by those still sleeping. Let them sleep, let them dream. But you awaken. And when you awaken, you stop explaining your light to those committed to living in shadow. You stop trying to prove your value to those who've misplaced their own. You stop waiting for permission that has already been granted by existence itself. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest? That sacred remembrance in your belly? That holy flame flickering behind your ribs? That's life saying, you are allowed to speak, to rest, to dance, to feel, to create, to grieve, to laugh, to cry, to walk away, to begin again. You are allowed to be unapologetically you, messy, divine, evolving, radiant, real, because God doesn't make mistakes. And you were not put here to be someone's idea of who you should be. You were sculpted from Source, and Source doesn't apologize for itself. It moves through galaxies, it breathes through mountains, it sings through birdsong and thunder, and now it pulses through you. You don't need to earn your right to exist. That right was bestowed on you the moment your soul agreed to this human journey. You don't need to prove your worth. You are the worth. You are the evidence of divine intelligence in motion. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. So stop apologizing for evolving beyond environments that no longer match your frequency. Stop apologizing for letting go of identities that were only ever survival mechanisms. Stop apologizing for not being who you used to be. You are not here to repeat. You are here to transform. When you stop apologizing, you begin to honor. And in that sacred honoring, you start to remember, I am the light. I am the love. I am the presence. I am the now. I am the one I was waiting for. And this remembrance, this deep cellular knowing, it doesn't require drama. It doesn't require explanation. It just is. Like the breath, like the ocean tide, like the stars spinning silently through a sky that never asks for permission to shine. When you live from this place of unapologetic presence, you move differently. You love more freely. You speak more clearly. You walk through the world not trying to be liked, but simply being light. And those still seeking themselves may not understand you, but those ready to awaken will recognize you, not because of what you say, but because of how you feel. You will become a mirror, a reminder, a beacon. Not because you set out to be those things, but because you finally allowed yourself to stop pretending you weren't already them. And what a gift that is, not just to yourself, but to the world. So I ask you now, gently, lovingly, directly, what would it feel like to stop apologizing forever? What would it feel like to wake up tomorrow and no longer ask for permission to follow your soul's deepest calling? What would it feel like to rest without guilt, speak without fear, create without censoring, and love without abandoning yourself? That feeling you just imagined, that's not fantasy, that's truth. That's your natural state. That's what your soul came here to remember, to embody, to live. And you don't need to earn it. You only need to choose it. Let the choosing begin now. Let your breath be your vow. Let your silence be your reset. Let your next step be your liberation. And let the world adjust to the sound of your unapologetic soul rising. You are not here to adjust your vibration to fit a world that has forgotten how to feel. You are here to remember, to return, to reclaim your sacredness in a world addicted to appearances. You are not meant to be accepted by everyone. You are meant to be authentic with yourself. And in that radical authenticity, you align with something greater than approval. You align with truth, with God, with the frequency of freedom. You were not born to be a shapeshifter in someone else's narrative. You are the author of your own becoming. You are the breath of divine intention woven into flesh. You are the yes that life whispered into the cosmos before you even arrived. There will be moments when the remnants of your conditioning rise. You will still feel the urge to apologize, to soften your truth, to twist yourself into shapes that feel familiar, even if they suffocate you. But in those moments, I ask you to pause, to breathe, to place your hand over your heart and say, I no longer abandon myself to be digestible. I no longer apologize for who I am becoming. Because who you are becoming is the most honest version of who you've always been beneath the layers. The child who knew how to dream without fear, how to speak without shame, how to dance without watching, how to love without guarding. That version of you is not gone. It is simply waiting for your permission to return. You cannot awaken if you are still apologizing for what your awakening disrupts. The moment you stop explaining your growth is the moment it becomes your natural state. Like water returning to the ocean, you begin to flow back into the infinite. You see, life is not asking you to become something you're not. It's asking you to remember what you already are. There is nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing unworthy. The only illusion is that you ever believed otherwise. And that illusion dies the day you say, I am done performing. I am done pretending. I am done apologizing for being exactly who the universe dreamed me into. It's time now to lay down the armor, the one made of I'm sorry, the one built from fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of disappointing others. You do not need it anymore. You never did. Your safety is not in hiding, it's in remembering. Remembering that when you stand in truth, you are never truly alone because the divine walks with you, in you, as you. Let this be your awakening. The realization that your existence is not a problem to solve, but a gift to unwrap every day, in every moment, in every breath. The more you unwrap, the more you reveal the miracle of presence, the miracle of wholeness, the miracle of being unapologetically you. When you no longer apologize for your presence, something miraculous happens. Life begins to respond to you differently. The right people find you. The right doors open. The right energy flows. Not because you finally proved yourself, but because you finally stopped resisting yourself. That's the real secret resistance, is the only thing that keeps you from the life you long for. Not the past, not the people, not the circumstances. It's the belief that you have to shrink, bend, explain, or apologize for what already belongs to you. Let the resistance go. Let it fall off you like an old skin, brittle with the dust of outdated stories. Let it drop like a heavy coat on a summer day, unnecessary, burdensome, ready to be released. You are not here to dim down to survive. You are here to shine to remember. And your light is not arrogance, it's awareness. It's not ego, it's essence. It's not performance, it's presence. And oh, how the world needs your presence. Not your perfection, not your compliance, not your smallness, your presence. Your whole, holy, unapologetic, radiant, messy, miraculous presence. That's what heals. That's what liberates. That's what transforms. You are the healing you've been seeking. You are the return you've been waiting for. You are the revolution your blood remembers. And it begins not with striving, not with effort, but with allowing. Allowing yourself to exist without apology. Allowing yourself to be here without explanation. Allowing yourself to breathe, to feel, to rest, to rise, all without needing anyone's stamp of approval. Because the only approval that ever truly mattered was your own. You are allowed to rewrite the rules, to walk away from shame, to stop explaining your light to those still addicted to their shadows. And you are allowed to do it gently. This doesn't need to be dramatic. It can be soft. Like the moment you choose silence over self-betrayal. Like the moment you choose rest over burnout. Like the moment you choose presence over people-pleasing. It's not about fighting who you were. It's about welcoming who you are. When you say yes to your own existence fully, completely, unapologetically, you become a sanctuary, a space where others remember it's safe to do the same. You stop perpetuating the legacy of apology and begin embodying the lineage of freedom. And isn't that what the world needs now? Not more apologies, more awakenings, not more conformity, more courage, not more fitting in, more standing out, not for attention, but for truth. So now, as we begin to lean gently toward the final stretch of this sacred remembering, let yourself breathe into this truth. You are a divine soul. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You do not need fixing. You need honoring. You need embracing. You need remembering. Not by the world, but by you. You have nothing left to apologize for. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are on time. Right here, right now, with the breath of God in your lungs, with the wisdom of eternity in your cells, with the courage to rise echoing in your bones. You do not need permission to be free. You only need to stop pretending you aren't. And the moment you do, the moment you release the last apology, lingering in your energy field, the whole universe exhales in celebration because you finally remembered what it has known all along. You are not here to apologize for your existence. You are here to embody it. You do not owe your light to anyone else's comfort. You do not have to fold yourself in half to be loved. You do not need to barter your authenticity for belonging. Because the deepest belonging begins when you belong fully to yourself, when you no longer need a crowd to echo your worth, because your very breath is an affirmation from the divine that you matter, that you are sacred, that your being is an irreplaceable note in the cosmic symphony of existence. Do you know what happens when you stop apologizing for your existence? You become available for life, truly available. Available to receive joy without guilt. Available to speak truth without trembling. Available to love without disappearing. Available to create without censoring. Available to serve without losing yourself. You become the open channel through which God pours, not because you became worthy, but because you remembered you always were. And in that remembering, something extraordinary occurs. You stop striving for freedom and you begin embodying it. The trees don't ask for forgiveness when they grow tall. The rivers don't say, "I'm sorry," as they carve canyons into mountains. The stars don't apologize for lighting the sky. So why would you apologize for shining in the way only you can? You are not a mistake that needs to be corrected. You are a miracle that needs to be witnessed. And your first witness must be you. So take this moment right here, right now, and breathe into the truth that your very existence is holy ground. Your life is not something you need to earn. It is something you get to inhabit fully, gratefully, boldly. And every time you choose presence over apology, you reclaim another part of your soul. Every time you speak your truth, even when your voice trembles, you realign with the deeper rhythm of the universe. Every time you say no to what dishonors you and yes to what nourishes you, you shift the fabric of reality toward love. This is not selfish. This is sacred. Because when you are full, not ego-full, but soulful, you overflow into others. Your wholeness becomes contagious. Your light becomes a mirror. Your freedom becomes a map. And without needing to fix, preach, or perform, you simply become the embodiment of permission. Permission to feel. Permission to rest. Permission to evolve. Permission to be. And that is how the world heals, not through force, but through presence. Not through shame, but through remembrance. Not through apology, but through alignment. So the invitation now is this: walk forward, not as someone seeking to be enough, but as someone who has remembered they always were. Walk as one who no longer begs for room, but who blesses every space with their being. Walk as one who does not shrink in fear, but expands in love. And if the world trembles at your fullness, let it. That trembling is the sound of illusions breaking. That trembling is the sound of permission rippling through collective consciousness. That trembling is the birth cry of a new way of being, one that no longer apologizes for its own holiness. You were born for this. You were born to be seen, not for who others want you to be, but for who you truly are. Beneath the costumes, the masks, the edits, you were born to be heard, not with a voice that performs, but with one that pierces through illusion like thunder wrapped in honey. You were born to stand not above others, but beside your own soul in unwavering devotion. You were born to awaken not someday, but now. And now is enough. Now is sacred. Now is waiting. Waiting for you to say the words that shift your entire reality. I no longer apologize for being me. Say it again. Gently. I no longer apologize for being me. Let it settle in your belly. Let it move through your spine. Let it dissolve the chains that were never yours to carry. You are no longer bound to a life of permission slips and second guessing. You are no longer required to carry guilt as your entry pass into love. You are no longer obligated to dilute your spirit to be understood. You are here to live in the fullness of your sacred yes. And this is your yes. This is your exhale. This is your homecoming. You will not be for everyone, but you are for you. You are for God. You are for truth. And that is enough. That is everything. And from this place, this whole radiant, unapologetic place, you now become the living proof that freedom is not found in permission, but in presence. You become the walking remembrance that we are all divine, we are all worthy, and none of us need to apologize for the miracle we already are. And now, as the final petals of this message begin to unfold in your heart, let these words land like soft thunder in your soul. You are allowed. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to rise. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to laugh. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to stay. You are allowed to rewrite your story. You are allowed to no longer explain it. You are allowed to just be, without justification, without apology, just you, whole, sacred, loved, free.